Alright everybody, welcome back, time to battle. Okay, we are up on the draw, redraw 1 power against Quazak. Heard that name before. Not sure who he is, but we'll find out in a moment. Given this hand, I think I'm gonna start with this, because this is always gonna cost me 1. This might come into play ready if we have a unit, while this never will. Alright, so here we just start finding our way. This is definitely not one of those games where we will be screwed. And yeah, I think we want this time. Although to be fair, the only double time we have is the Scribe. But yeah, you gotta be careful, like you wanna try to keep even amounts of justice and time in the deck for the Minotaur ambassador, and try to thin the Primal sigils first once you have your colors fixed. They are irrelevant for ambassador like this. To make sure that at least your first ambassador is hitting usually. Keep just circling around here. Fetch another sigil. So far, not a whole lot going on in this game. Our opponent apparently having a very double time heavy hand, not being able to play anything. I mean, I think that's like fair punishment for putting, I think, Out of the Vault and Cerso in the same deck, because I think this deck is running Cerso and Heart. And maybe even Molot and Akova. Taken, so it's like the greediest pile. So I guess sometimes there's justice. Speaking of justice, I think I really do this. Should have done that before drawing a card with Temple Scribe. And then play a depleted justice, so we have double justice next turn. For the unlikely case that we want to Marshal, but I doubt that. Oh. So we just do this. Pass the turn. And depending on what he does, we may or may not Eilyn's Choice the Sigil. I think we won't, because I expect a Heart of the Vault. Then we can Marshal next turn. Yep. I know it. Okay. Boom. All the value. So he has a 0 power fast spell in hand, so he probably has a 0 power torch. It seems like. Might go for another Marshal here, actually. Yeah, I think another Marshal. Pretty decent deal here. Before we start unleashing everything else, basically. Because next turn we can play Ascendant with Secret Pages and Choice open. Don't want it. Choice here. Alright, there we go. And now the game is over. These kinds of like fair mid-range decks can't beat this deck. Just does too many broken things and has too many answers. Right. Where's the second torch, please? I love this line. And the good game for the Robins, just for the funsies. We're running out of Minotaur power, but that's okay. Oh yeah, that's what I'm... we drew the Minotaur just in time, before we're out of power. That's okay. Just ate like all his cards. Boom. Short work of random 3-color pile. I like it. Next opponent. Awesome hand. Snap keep. 3 power. Nice early game Marshal. Perfect. Because you obviously want like pre-Marshal stage cards in your opening hand. And maybe a Marshal for the Harsh Rule stage. But preferably no post-Harsh Rule stage cards. They are better drawn off the top when we need them and not in our opening hand when they can't do anything for us. Alright. Temple Scribe, writings on the wall. And yeah, and shaping up nicely. Yeah, I think can trade here to not take unnecessary damage early on. I think I like there's the option of just Desert Marshalling here to deny the Warcry, but given that we have 4 power next turn, I think having like double Desert Marshal on turn 4 is a pretty sweet line. Like if he attacks with both, I'm not even gonna block, because it's the most obvious rapid shot in the world. And with the Desert Marshal we can blow that out later. But yeah, now we kind of got him. I don't think I want to prematurely Desert Marshal here. He didn't attack, he doesn't have anything. This is also nice against the bandit. Like this one. Gonna be very sad about this attack. And that's where the game is over. Basically. Hello there. Make some owls. I mean only one, but that will do at the moment. And yeah, that's what I mean, like now we have this 8 of the Hooru in our hand that's not gonna do anything for a million years. So it might be just better to cut one. I don't know. I think I'm happy to raise here. Against the 1 grenade in with no play. And the Harsh Rules as a backup. Oops. So just attack and then Marshal. Since I don't really want to take damage from this for no reason. And if he plays another unit now, we can just Harsh Rule again and then start marshalling into 8. And yeah, cards like this are the reason why it is important to take 0 hits from this Impending Doom. Because every damage he can deal us is critical down the line. And if he has to start killing our Marshal with the Obliterate, that's perfect. Alright, sorry. And another Obliterate. By the way, 3 Obliterate plus 1 hit from the Impending Doom would have meant we died. But we didn't. I think after 3 of these, we can actually kind of use this aggressively on his face with the Marshal back up to protect it. So as long as he doesn't have a charger, it's gonna be fine. And he has a charger. Of course. But we get 2 for 1 from our Marshal, so that's fine. Good value. But we're not out of the woods yet, because we have this dead 8 of the Hooru and he has a Drake trigger on his stuff. Yep. It's a decent draw. That also means we don't die to the last Obliterate yet. But yeah, the Drake trigger is concerning at least. Time to get our double Primal going. Damn it. That's pretty good. Gonna hold on to that, because if we draw an Ascendant, we can draw a card immediately. Might actually lose this. So this means go to 1. Iffy. And that means we die. That was a really sad loss. But yeah, Drake trigger, pretty good there. Was excited a little too early, I guess. But yeah, might be, like I said, reasonable to shave 1/8 of the Hooru for a cheaper card. I would probably run main deck Enforcers before I would go back to healers though. Because Enforcer at least has more impact early and late answering problems. Also in mirror match-like matchups. Not sure how I like this hand. I think I'm gonna keep it. Not sure. Bit iffy. Let's see. The questionable hand. He's on like Scar Stranger aggro. Played him earlier. Desert Marshal MVP against this deck. All the shiny strangers. Not the kind of cards we need. Let's actually brewed a similar deck recently. But yeah, didn't like the look and potential of it and kind of put it aside. Just not enough gain for the inconsistency that you generate, I think. But it's a kind of fun, especially if it works. Consistencies don't fuck you over. Block. I think he should have attacked with everything, really. Would go to 9. Probably have to block the champion anyway. 6 in a bad spot. I think he was playing that too conservative. Plus we might even have a Marshal, so if we have a Marshal, another reason to attack. That's pretty good. Okay, so that's kind of nice. Means we can actually 8 next turn. But yeah, I think 2 Ambassador, 2 8, kind of a nice number that makes sense. Okay. We can actually 8 next turn. That's pretty nice. Or even ultimate. Okay, so this and do this. And block all the guys. Then gain 4 health to not die. Let's hope he doesn't have torch. And slow rolling the torch or something. Okay, we got this. Game is over. Pew pew. Feeling pretty good at 7 with this board and this hand. That's like the nice draw. Okay, so we basically just ultimate, I think. Seems fair. Dead. The random synergy of 8 of the Hooru and Runehammer. I mean, why do people not concede in this spot? You're dead, just concede already. Save people the time. You don't concede, I'm gonna go through all the motions and dawdle around with you and play with you. Play with my food. Okay, so I'm actually gonna quickly think what I would want instead of this 8 of the Hooru. Because yeah, I'm really not super happy with situations like that just happened. Honestly, maybe 4 Runehammer is just a nice thing, because Runehammer is pretty good in a lot of situations. Pretty versatile even without any buffs. We have like Eilyn's Choice for the big guys. Just keeps us afloat, gives us momentum earlier. So yeah, I wanna try this probably for now. Another reason that's worth noting, by the way, is that Titan, like people think, oh, no Titan because of like the owls and stuff. That's not that big of a deal. Can matter sometimes, but that's not the main reason. The other thing is Titan is like reactive in a way as a means to stabilize the board. You play it and then you hope they don't interact with it in a way that puts you in trouble. And it turns on all their like annihilates and vanquishes, which are actually dead otherwise. I mean, they are not dead because we have these top end guys, but they are dead at the stage of the game where they generate meaningful tempo. Like if I harsh roll and then drop an Ironthorn or an Ascendant, sure, they can kill that with an Annihilate or a Vanquish, but does it bother me that the Vanquish costs 2 and the Ironthorn costs 5? Not so much. But if I drop a Titan on 4 and they annihilate that or vanquish that for 2, I'm in big trouble, or even like kill it with a combat trick for 1 or 2 combat. That's a big deal and deals me a lot of damage, while they cannot do that to a Runehammer. So I'd rather just Runehammer their best guy against aggro, then drop a Titan, get blown out, and I'm so far behind that I need Marshal to have a shot to stay in the game, or might even have no chance to ever win the game at all. Which is why this is basically more reliable and better at buying you time and stabilizing you than a Titan is, because they have no outs to this, but they come prepared for Titan, and all their answers are very tempo efficient and cheap, and allow them to kill your Titan and drop another unit and still deal you damage. Alright, made that change. That's it for the first half of the games. Went 2-1. One loss was pretty unfortunate. Outback, part of the reason was actually the 3-8, having an 8 in hand. It didn't do anything. So if there would have been a hammer, we would have probably had a pretty good shot at winning that game. Okay, stay tuned for the second half of the games coming up in a moment.